Hey guys, welcome to another battle report. So it's the middle of Christmas. Hope everyone's had a great Christmas, and I'm just going to finish off two more battle reports, hopefully tonight, and then after a bit of fun tonight for New Year's, then tomorrow. So the first one is a game against Nigel Kavanagh that we had down in TLC a couple of weeks ago. We were having a Christmas night and we had a couple of games. So he brought along his Tomb Kings, so I get to move away from Dark Elves finally and face a few different armies. So again, we were going on through the Warcon preparation for everybody. Nigel's one of the guys who's going to go down, and he's just testing out his Tomb Kings army to see how it works with the Warcon rules pack, which is a little different to a few other ones that are going around. So I think I have pretty much the same army that I had the last time, a little bit different, but pretty much. So we'll start off with my High Elves, and I have gone for a level 4 Archmage again as the general. He has the Lore of High Magic, Talisman of Preservation, which gives him a 5+ ward save, but hopefully it'll be added on with the High Magic and a Spell Scroll. The BSB is a regular noble with the Reaver Bow and Shielded a Merworm. I think he also has a Dragonbane gem, I forgot to put that in there. And I have a level 2 Lore Master as my mage. I love the idea of the Lore Master, so I'm going to use him for a while and see how he works out. I give him the Talisman of Preservation because he doesn't actually have any war saves or anything like that. He's quite a choppy guy though. He's got 3 attacks, great weapons, so he's good to have. Going on there, I've got 15 archers by 2, 5 Aurelian Reavers with a musician, 2 Great Eagles, 20 Phoenix Guard, full command with a Razor Standard I've changed over. Gives them an extra -1 when they chop someone. 20 Sword Masters of Hoth, full command with a standard discipline where I'll put my Archmage. 5 Silver Helms, which are being proxied with the Dragon Princes I've been using. I have the Silver Helms finally, put them together, so now I can start using the real models. Give them a shield as well, so they got a 2+ save, which is great. And then 2 Bolt Throw. And moving on to Nigel, he brought himself the Tomb King for his general, who is just a regular Tomb King. He kept him really cheap because he just wants to use his leadership 10. But the main guy in his army is Arkan the Black, who is a level 5 Dark Death Mage, who has a special kind of talisman that lets him keep up to 3 dispel dice in his turn. So I didn't quite grasp how that was going to work until going through the game, and then I realised I better start casting a lot of spells to get rid of a lot of his dispel dice. It's very good. He also has a couple of few Lich Priests, level 2s, Laura Light, so when he gets his banishment he's going to have a pretty strong, I think strength 6 banishment it goes up to when you've got an extra few Lich Priests. One of them there is a Dispel Scroll. Another one he has is a Necrotect, which gives him, he can use the leadership I believe of the Necrotect. I think it is him, or is it the Tomb King, one or the other. They're a funny little army. He's got 24 Skeleton Archers, which are great because they always hit on 5s. And they never miss. He's got 2 units of 5 Skeleton Horse Archers. He's got 4 Skeleton Chariots, which I think are great. Nice little band of chariots flying around is very fun looking on the board. They've got a Banner of Eternal Flame. The big unit he has is the 35 Tomb Guard, and they've got full command and halberds, which means that these guys are strength 5, and they're very tough. They got kill and blow, and they're something that from now on I will be giving a lot of respect to because they are a tough unit. He has also the Casket of Souls, which has a bounce spell and can give him D3 magic dice in his turn, and a Screaming Skull Catapult, which is just your bog standard catapult. Nice little model. So we have the Tomb King set up here, and Nigel puts everything pretty much in the same little place. He has a plan. Nigel always has a plan, and what he wants me to do is to come over to him, really. I think he's just going to move on over here and wait till I get in range and he's going to charge at me. And then onto the High Elf setup, and again I've spread myself across, so 2 pictures for this one. I have an eagle on the left, the Reavers just in front of the Silver Helms, and then I have my beginnings of the archers over here, just starting to paint them, so hopefully I'll have them painted in another week or 2. They take a bit of time with the white. And 2 Bolt Throws in the hill there as well. And just moving on to the right hand side, the Sword Masters and the Phoenix Guard are in the centre there with some loner Bretonian peasant archers who are fighting on my side, and then my eagle is on the very right. I'll put the general in the Sword Masters because they have the standard discipline, so we have leadership 10, but just for fluff purposes and for fun purposes, I guess, I prefer to have the Lore Master in there because he has a great weapon, he's of Hoeth, all that sort of stuff. So I know the Phoenix Guard needs a Razor Standard and Discipline needs to be over the other side, but I think I have a feeling I'll be going back to the other way around because I just like it from a fluff point of view. I'm a fluff gamer, you know. And that's pretty. So High Elf turn 1, I moved the Eagle over across to threaten those little archer guys, who I don't think they'll be doing too much. So hopefully we'll shoot them with the archers here in the centre. And the Phoenix Guard just move up a little bit towards the buildings. Same with the Sword Masters, they've moved up a bit as well, getting range for some spells. Didn't move the archers to 30-inch range, so they're long enough to shoot anyway. Moved up the Iridian Reavers. I had forgotten the Vanguard, and because we'd roll for turns and it wouldn't be fair just to do a Vanguard then knowing that I had the first turn, so I just moved them up onto the hill. And then the Silver Helms are just behind them, so just in case I do flee or I do panic, I shouldn't panic anybody else because they're not in range. And then the other Eagle goes up there on the left hand side. So then onto my magic phase, and I think I rolled 3 or 4 for the Winds of Magic, nothing very high. I haven't been rolling much in the past few weeks and the past month, I suppose. But anyway, rolled 2 dice of Hand of Glory with my High Mage and got a double 6. How lucky is that? Or how unlucky, should I say. But the result of miscast was a 7, so at least it wasn't too bad. Mage took a wound and a couple of Sword Masters died, which you'll see in another picture. The guys here got themselves +2 onto their ballistic skill, so they shouldn't have any trouble hitting anything. We'll just see if their strength 3 can wound anything. That's what we'll see. And it did. They got rid of the horse archers when they shot. We were hitting on, I think we were hitting on 2s, so pretty much everything hit, and we got rid. So for the rest of the shooting, the Reaver bow took out 3 of the horse archers, and the other guys couldn't actually see the horse archers, so they fired at the main Tomb Guard unit. I think we only took out 3 or 4 of those guys as well, but still not too bad. Not too bad. And Team King's turn 1. I'm missing a couple of pictures from the start. I think they were fuzzy, so I had to delete them. So Nigel just moved up a little bit. He didn't go very far now. You know, the old Tomb Kings are just kind of waiting to see what I was going to do. So he fired a couple of spells off of me. I think he fired a banishment. I think that was the next spell he fired off. He fired a couple of other spells off and took a wound off the Eagle. Got rid of a couple of my Reavers who held. And I think he fired one off in the next picture as well. Indeed, got rid of a couple of Silver Helms. They held as well, so I was okay there. Onto the shooting phase then, and the catapult opened up, fired a flaming catapult over, and destroyed my bolt thrower. And then the archers on the chariot fired a couple of little shots over at the Eagle and took a wound off him as well. I don't think he's going to do too much for me, but he's just out there harrying. Skeleton archers then opened up as well on these guys and took off a couple of Sword Masters, which was quite good because they always hit on 5s, don't they? So not bad. So High Elves turn 2. So I just flew the Eagle over to the side just to annoy him, just to see if I can maybe come down and get onto that catapult, stop it from shooting at me again the next turn. So hopefully that'll work. You can't see it up there, but I did the same with the Eagle. I think you just see his base up the top there. The Reavers are down to 2, so just put them behind that thing there. They'll probably be getting shot more. Maybe I think later on I run them off and make them disappear. But in WarpCon you still get 25% points for a unit that's down past half points anyway. So there's still some points there for Nigel. And meanwhile I put the Silver Helms up a little bit onto the hill. Hopefully they can charge down if I get the chance. Move the Phoenix Guard up a bit, and then just put the Sword Masters up as well. I had to move my archers up as well. I know it's only going to be -1 to hit, so it's not too big a deal really. Onto my magic phase then, and I get a Soul Quench off on his unit and just burn off a couple more guys. I'm just trying to get low level spells out so I can get rid of his dispel dice, just so he doesn't carry them over onto his phase, because I'm realizing, after the last phase there was a few spells put off that I couldn't stop because I just didn't have the dice, whereas he loads. So I need to really cut them down. And in our shooting phase we get rid of the last 2 horse archers So Tomb King's turn 2, and Nigel moves his tomb card up towards the building, giving them enough room so they can probably go either right or left depending on which unit he wants to charge. He has his archers facing over towards my cavalry, who are looking at him as well, and then he just turns around the archers just so they can get a shot off at the eagle, so he can stop him from charging in probably the side of them or into the catapult, which is more than likely where I'd be looking to go first of all with them anyway. So Tomb King's magic phase, and there wasn't too many dice. This one I'd gotten to use most of his dispel dice in the last turn, and I think he only rolled a 1 for the casket. So he threw pretty much everything he had at a banishment, and rather than use up a scroll, or rather than I tried my dispel dice, and I failed. I let it pretty much go off because I only had a couple of dice to try and stop it. It's only a couple of silver helms, so I just let it go, and banishment got rid of them. And then the Tomb King archers take out 4 more of the boys here, even though they have their 5+ ward save and their armor save. So they're whittling them down. So High Elf turn 3, and the 2 eagles fire into each side of the catapult, stopping and shooting. So no more firing, screaming skulls for a while. Hopefully we take that out. So I stick the Phoenix Guard into the building. I don't think he's going to be sending the Tomb Guard in there, but hopefully he will, because we're a tough bunch, and they last a lot longer than anybody else. And I had an option here to charge with the Swordmasters. I was humming and hawing for a little bit, and I finally said no. And Nigel said, "Are you sure? It might be an interesting idea." And whenever Nigel says, "Maybe you should, maybe it's an interesting idea," it means this is what you should do because it's what you should do. So from now on I will learn from that mistake, and if I get the chance I will charge in my turn. And that does make a lot more sense because we can buff ourselves too. Archers, I moved the ones on the left up slightly, up onto the hill, so they can fire some more. I think I left the ones on the right where they were. As you can see, the guy at the back there, the Reaver is going to run, and he's going to run away and away, just so he can keep getting away. The magic phase, so I got myself off an apotheosis, which Nigel didn't bother dispelling because he didn't really care about it. So it takes the wound back off my mage and gives the ward save that I was looking for. I was hoping he might actually try and dispel, but he really didn't have much interest. That was it for magic. So close combat, and the 2 eagles do a nice job and get rid of the Screaming Skull catapult, which is good news for me, and good news for my other ball thrower who won't be shot at again. So, Tomb King's turn 3, and pictures were blurry again, so we missed out on the movement phase, but there's an overall picture after it, which I can go on to. But the magic phase here was him looking to get rid of my eagles. So we fired everything he had, which is the bound spell of the casket, which does this, kills this eagle, and then he fires another spell at this poor eagle, who gets fired at banishment. And Nigel puts down the card, says I'm going to roll these dice, and then gets himself and there it is, the double 6. So the eagle was killed, and Nigel got himself an 8 on the table, which means that everybody on his side, every magic user, takes a strength 6 hit. So in here he has 4 guys. There's Arcan is there, and the 3 light wizards, and one of the light wizards survives, gets himself a 1, and the other 3 guys all take a strength 6 hit, and they're all wounded. So most are down. The small wizard's down to 1 wound, and I think Arcan has 3 or 4 wounds, something like that. So it wasn't too bad. I lost an eagle, and he lost a few wounds off his wizard, so maybe if he does it again I can get rid of a few of those idiots. This is the High Elf turn 4, and this also gives a view on the Tomb Kings of what they have. The chariots turn around, they were going to get rid of my eagle. He decided to banish them instead, you know yourself. And then he moved the Tomb Guard and turned them around because Phoenix Guard can't charge out of the building into him, so he's no fear there. And if he was going to get charged, then he would like me to frontally charge him rather than at the side. So my movement phase was this. I moved the Reaver back and I did nothing else. And again, Nigel said, maybe you should think about charging in there. And I went, well, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just cast some spells. Again, when Nigel says you should probably charge, you should really be charging in there, because I would have been able to buff. I would have been able to do a lot more damage as well, rather than waiting for their turn. And when he can buff his guys, and I didn't even think of that. That's why Nigel's a better general than me. Simple as that. So we move on to the shooting phase, I believe. I think the magic phase is a bit of a bust. And what I did was I sent every single archer and every single shot I had into the archers. That unit needs to be gone, and as soon as I can get rid of the archers, I can shoot all the little wizards as well. And I need to kill every single one of those guys. They're the only problem. The rest of this stuff is alright. So Tomb King turn 4. He does exactly what I should have done in past 2 turns, and he charges straight in the front of my unit, and he makes it no problem. So that's going to be very tough for my guys. I didn't really think they were that tough, and that's why I don't think I bothered to engage them. I wasn't really afraid. Turns out I should have been very, very afraid. He reforms his archers. Or sorry, not his. Oh yeah, he reforms his archers, brings them over that way, and does the same with the chariots on the right hand side, and moves them over as well. And then some Tomb King shooting, and he takes off one of my archers, which isn't really too bad. But the Tomb King close combat is not grand, because it takes out the entire unit apart from the command group. These guys are brutal when buffed with, I think he buffed them with something, and the Necrotect is in there giving them weapon skill 5. And my mage took a wound as well, poor old mage, so that was pretty tough. And it was so tough that they broke and ran, and I should have given them my little standard bearer as well. But off they went, and the Tomb Kings did not catch me, thank God for that. So High Elf turn 5, and my guys did not rally, and they ran even further away. So what he'll do in his turn is he's going to charge them and see if they can get rid of them. In the meantime, the archers on the left moved up just enough. Well, they do move up just enough, so the Tomb King guys don't charge them in the flank, and my Reaver just moves away just to conserve points. That's all. Shooting, and we shoot everything we can into this unit over here, and finally kill Arcan the Black. It took every single shot that we had, and I was failing. I was failing shots here, left and right, and we just couldn't kill this guy. But finally Arcan's dead, and that is a major plus for us, a major. And there's even better news for the High Elves, as more shooting takes out the rest of the level 1s, and they are all now gone. So this is great stuff. We're all set. There's no more magic coming at us, and we got rid of his general, so hopefully we can just keep it alive and keep. As I thought in the other phase, the Tomb Kings turn 5, they charge me, and we are just on the edge of the board. So we are one failed rally check from losing our general and everybody else. And the rest of the Tomb Kings movement is to move the archers, who are now down to 4. I think we threw a fireball at them in the last turn. Are now down to 3, and they're coming over to charge into my archers, whom they shoot and get rid of another one. So poor old archers, never mind. High Elf turn 6, and cheerio Archmage. He's not coming back. He failed the rally test and off he goes. So general for general, never mind. But we can make up for some of that in the magic phase. So Lore Master fires off a low level fireball just to draw out some dice. Nigel actually went to dispel it and he failed. So we took a wound off one of the chariots. Only one, it was only a d6 one, just a really low casting one. But after the shooting phase, we got rid of most of those lads, which is great. So they're all gone. And then the Tomb King's turn, all he had left to do was charge me with his chariot. And with 5 hits and loads of wounds, that's the end of the chariot, and that's it, the end of the game. And that's the end of the game. I believe it was a 15-5 victory for the High Elves, because we got rid of his general, most of the units, and we had the Watchtower, which is 600 points in Warpcon toll. So that's pretty great, a nice win. But I suppose looking back on it, what I didn't do was my charges. I didn't really take charge of any phases. Shooting was okay, he wasn't bad. Eagles did a lot better than they usually do, and they actually killed something. But I'm still at a loss as how exactly to play these kind of guys, and I think using 5 silver helms mightn't be great, so I might try and bulk them up to maybe unit 8, unit 9, 10. We'll see how it goes. But I do like using the High Elves though. I think they're fun, especially Lore Master with lots of spells, High Magic with lots of buffs, very important stuff like that. Yeah, it was a great game. Again, thanks to Nigel for that game. He is the master, and I always learn a lot off him, and he's a great man to play against. So, happy New Year to everybody. Catch you with the next one, which I will hopefully have up, if not tomorrow, then the day after. And then we'll be back to the Hobby Shack for more games. I think it's Orcs and Goblins after that. So, thanks very much for listening. See you later.